Agent Romanoff. You missed me?
Oh yeah, Charles, we got ourselves an X-Men fan.
Captain.
Your Highness.
Captain, big fan, Spider-Man. Hey everyone.
Hey guys, and welcome to Film Artsy, your #1 source for all things film and movies. My name is Eli, and today we are talking about Black Panther. Black Panther was an amazing and incredible film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It really took on a different pace and a different storytelling technique, and I really appreciated it, and I think it's one of the best movies in the entire MCU. That being said, just like any movie, this movie has a couple of little fun mistakes and errors throughout the film that I think are really interesting. We're gonna look at a couple of the little mistakes and goofs that were missed by the editing team, and it's pretty cool to get to see that background and behind the scenes that we might have missed actually the first time watching through the film. So let's get into it. The first one happens in the first 10 minutes of the film when T'Challa is on the ship getting ready to drop down. In a couple of the shots while he is talking, the length of his beard actually changes. In some shots, his beard is very short, and in other shots, his beard is long and hangs down. This is probably because they had to do some reshoots for this scene for whatever reason, and when they did the reshoots, they must have either missed the length of the beard, or he had already shaved his beard shorter, and they needed to do the reshoots badly and didn't have time to wait and reschedule. It's not a big deal or a movie-breaking thing, but I think it's really cool to see that they took the time to reshoot and make the movie perfectly, and we can see that sometimes shots are filmed maybe even weeks apart, and to us when we watch the movie, it's one just clean scene. So I think it's really cool that we can kind of get a little insight by seeing that scene, and I definitely didn't notice when I watched the movie the first time. Another interesting scene is when Shuri gives T'Challa the sneakers that silence his footsteps. For the most part, the film does a really good job at making Black Panther this silent character. However, in this scene here on your screen, you can't actually hear the Black Panther as he is running in despite wearing these new sneakers. For the most part, when I rewatched through the film, you can't actually hear the footsteps other than in a couple other little scenes. But there are a few places where the sound design team still put the sounds of his footsteps in for whatever reason. Maybe they did this to make some of these action scenes feel a little more upbeat and less awkward. I don't know, I don't think I noticed it during the actual film, but I think it's interesting. This one's one I actually didn't know until I did some research online, but in the scene where Everett Ross is describing Killmonger, he says that he graduated from the United States Naval Academy at age 19 in Annapolis. But that's technically impossible because they don't accept anyone to join the Naval Academy under the age of 18, and because of how intense the training is there, it takes exactly 4 years to complete. So there's technically no way he could have gotten in early enough to graduate at 19, and even if he was really good because of the way the scheduling works, he would have had to have been at least 21 or 22 before he could have gotten out. At the same time, that being said, him being a special exception kind of shows off how crazy, strong, and awesome this villain character is. So at the same time, while it's technically not possible, it's a pretty cool background to make us feel how powerful and well-trained this character was. Another little small one is after Killmonger defeats T'Challa, when they are putting the necklace on because he's the new king, the necklace actually changes the way it looks between shots. In one shot, it has a metal clasp that would go around the neck, and in another shot, it has more of a rope-like texture. This is probably done again because of reshoots. Maybe they didn't like the way the necklace initially looked and they wanted to reshoot the scenes of the necklace going around his neck. They changed it to more of a rope type tie instead of a metal clasp. Personally, I think it looks better with the rope than it would have with a metal clasp, so I'm okay with it, but I think it's cool to see what it could have looked like maybe in the earlier stages of this film. In the scene where the group goes to M'Baku for help, M'Baku threatens to feed Everett Ross to his people, but then makes the joke that his people are vegetarian. However, a couple of moments later, he says that his fishermen found T'Challa in the river and saved him, which means they have fishermen, which means they probably eat fish, which would ruin the chances of them being vegetarian. It's kind of a funny goof. It could just be a joke in the movie. I think it's kind of interesting to see this contradiction so close together in the film. At the very end of the film, when T'Challa is addressing the United Nations and you see the flags around him, for some reason the Welsh flag is there. And Wales is actually a part of the United Kingdom, so there's really no reason for that flag to be there because technically Wales is not a part of the United Nations, the United Kingdom is. So it's just kind of an interesting little mistake. You can barely see the flag anyways, but I thought it's interesting. And then we have one more bonus one. I wasn't sure if this one counted or not, so I'm throwing it in at the end. At the very beginning of the film, when they are talking about how the vibranium came to Africa, it shows the planet millions of years ago, but technically millions of years ago, the continents would have been a lot closer together and they wouldn't have shifted apart. But also, since it's a story, it's supposed to be a representation of the imagination of a kid. So I wasn't too sure if like having the incorrect planet Earth actually counted or not, but I wanted to throw that out there too, just in case you noticed that one too. Other than a few little errors here and there I didn't want to talk about, those are the main ones I caught. I still love this movie, and I think knowing these little mistakes and goofs along the way makes me kind of like the movie a little bit more, just because it's just kind of like a fun thing to point out when you're watching with a friend or something like that. I don't know. I just like to know all the behind the scenes stuff, and I think it's pretty cool. Let me know what you guys think. Were there any mistakes that you didn't know about, or were any of these mistakes surprises to you? Leave a comment down below, or if I missed a mistake, let me know in the comment section down below and we can talk about it. That's it for today, guys. Be sure to follow all our social media, link in the description down below, and we'll see you guys next time with a brand new video. Bye, guys.